Yes, indeed. Well, sticking with the media then, let's come to Ofcom. We've been talking about the issue of regulators wanting to become global regulators, and Ofcom leading the way with online safety and censorship on the internet. So they have just published this. Global online safety regulators map out vision to improve international coordination. Now, we've talked about the fact that the global online safety regulators exist, and we'll remind you who's involved with it in a minute. But they've decided that they want to map out the plans for this. So let's just have a look and see what they're saying. Though each of us has our own domestic regulatory framework, we understand that neither the risks people face online nor the online services they use are confined to national or continental borders. Accordingly, it is important that our regulatory approaches acknowledge this. With global service providers now being required to comply with online safety legislation in multiple jurisdictions, the possibility of cross-border regulatory fragmentation is heightened, potentially creating compliance challenges and costs for companies. That's a real shame for the likes of Google and organizations with, multiple sets of 3 zeros at the end of their annual income. By pursuing regulatory coherence, we can ensure that the online safety of internet users in our respective countries does not stop at the border, and that companies can benefit from compliance economies of scale and legal certainty. So what we're seeing here is that beginning in the UK, we began this narrative that we needed to regulate the internet, that we needed online safety, online harms, protections. That was fed into various other countries, the EU, the United States less so, but certainly the EU and other jurisdictions around the world who joined on the gravy train and managed to get their legislation in first. But nonetheless, the Online Safety Act, as you all know, was eventually passed. But Ofcom, who is the regulator for the internet in the UK now, always had its eyes set on becoming the chair or the global lead on this. So this is the Global Online Safety Regulators Network. These are the current members from Australia, Fiji, France, Ireland, Republic of Korea, Slovakia, South Africa, and the current chair, United Kingdom. And then they have a bunch of organizations that consider themselves observers. So a number of global observers there, some from Canada, some from the EU, Germany, New Zealand, and so on. So this is a growing network of online safety regulators and others related to the regulatory space who all want to form a network to try to produce some cohesive ideas of how online regulation should work so that the poor old multi-billion pound companies like YouTube and Google and whatnot don't have to work too hard to maintain the regulatory standard, which will effectively mean censorship and a sort of level playing field for censorship around the world. We'll watch this space and we'll continue to report on it. So that more or less brings us to the end, Debbie, but you have one final thing.
And thank you so much to Pip, one of our wonderful members who sent me this. Predictive programming, I guess. I'm going to be talking and showing you a little bit of a film called Humane, although perhaps we ought to call it Inhumane. And this is a trigger warning. So if you've got kids with you, although this is just a trailer, you might just want to come back and look at this little clip later. But we're talking climate crisis, we're talking environmental collapse, we're talking about, should we depopulate the population? And is this the new Logan's Run? Have a look at the trailer.
While we every day bear witness to the catastrophic ecological collapse that is plaguing our planet, we must not forget that this is, above all, a human crisis.
I am in favor of this government doing whatever it takes to win this war.
It's not a war. Wars have opposing sides.
Humanity is the opposing side. We are engaged in nothing less than a life and death struggle against our own extinction.
What is going on?
We've decided to enlist.
You're not gonna like this, but we're here to collect 2 bodies. I already told you Dawn left.
And that's unfortunate. But the rules are the same for everybody. Think about your lives. I'm sure one of you is going to realize that it's not all that great. You think I'm the bad guy, but I'm doing important work to save the planet.
We can get through this, but we have to stick together.
It's been a hell of a night, huh?
All I can say, Debbie, is wow.
I don't know what to say either, Mike. It was released on April the 26th, and there are trailers on YouTube, but I would put out a trigger warning if you happen to have vulnerable people with you or children.
Yes. Okay. Well, on that happy note, then, we need to end for today. We will be back in a few minutes if you're a UK Column member for some extra. I'm going to say thank you to Debbie and Ben for joining me today, and thank you all for watching. If you're not joining us for extra, please consider joining the UK Column as a member, and then you can join us for extra. But if you're not, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday at 1 p.m. as usual. See you then. Bye-bye.